that setting up, I will also type do. Is it working yet? There we are. Hey, come join us for some more Oceans Ablaze. There we go. Okay. Hello. Stop giving me stupid free trial stuff. Hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today, our storyteller is Benny, or Autis DM, on TikTok, and today we shall be continuing the tale of Oceans Ablaze. Come on in, take a seat, and let your imagination run free. And a huge shout out to our $3 patron, Pastry Boy Fritter. If you guys want to be shouted out on our videos as well, or if you guys want to see some other content, including our writings ahead of time, as we'll be posting some of the chapters of our fan fictions or general writings and books and things like that a week ahead on our Patreon every now and again. Feel free to join that, and if you go high enough inside the tiers, you'll be able to do other stuff like help us make NPCs or other stuff like that. So feel free to check out our Patreon and all of our other channels and everything like that. All right, and Benny, if you'd like to take the floor.
Thank you for having me on. And yes, where we left off, the party was in the situation where, in exchange for being given a boat, you had been asked to stop a warship that is on its way to the tomb, the infamous pirate den where you have friends. So you found the ship you needed to find. You all have concocted at least the bones of your plan for how you're going to take out this much larger ship than your own. So the setting now is that it's getting to be sunset. You've been trying to stay just out of sight of this larger vessel in the hope of sneaking up on them and getting the drop on them. And you've reached that window of opportunity where it's getting dark, so you'll have the advantage of darkness. And now is your moment, because by morning they will reach the tomb. So something we did in the last campaign that I thought went well, that I'd like to do by way of our character introductions, is we'll go around each person will introduce their character, and then we'll have you tell us what your character thinks of one other character in the party. And I think for this, we're going to start with Signa. And Signa, you're going to give us your character's opinion on your newest crewmate, Marina Oceanstar.
Alright, so, yeah, Signa, the fathomless warlock, aberrant mind sorcerer, largely sees her as being just young, optimistic, and entirely too naive, and thus a liability who, if necessary, should be sacrificed to the old gods, but might still be useful.
How does the definition of necessary work for Signa? Is necessary like
that feels like a backhand compliment?
Necessary to sacrifice this person means like we don't have enough spaces in the lifeboats, or we're running out of food. We had a big breakfast, but there won't be anything until dinner. So, like,
more the latter than the former.
Okay. On that cheery note,
love you too, Marie. It's Signa.
On that cheery note, we'll go to Marina. And Marina, in addition to introducing your character, you can tell us about your opinion of Locke.
So Marina is a wonderful, useful trident princess who is a bard of lore and a druid, Circle the Shepherd druid. And what she thinks of Locke is he's quite the peculiar character, but she finds him quite intriguing and fun to be around, even though he can be a bit much in her opinion and gruesome. But it kind of is almost balanced between she's uncomfortable with what he does, but she finds him too interesting, especially all his gadgets and experiments. Too interesting to not be around him.
That's fair. All right.
So,
All right. And go ahead and give us an introduction for Locke, please, and also tell us what Locke thinks of Ace.
Locke is the artificer, artillerist, and alchemist mad bomber in the group. And Locke has a lot of respect for Ace because of the fact that Ace really is more leadership material than anyone else that he's probably met.
That's fair.
But at the same time, there's definitely more than a few decisions that have been that make Locke grind his teeth at.
All right. And then finally, that's going to bring us to Ace. And Ace, you can go ahead and introduce your character and also give us your opinion of Cigna.
Okay. So Ace is a dual rogue swashbuckler as well as a hexblade warlock. He's human and chaotic neutral, so he's very into the idea of people are only useful or only important if they are useful. And so he leans very heavily into that. And then in terms of how he feels about Cigna for the most part is useful in his opinion. The ability to go invisible, as well as the apparent usage of the depth gods to herald their journey. Seemingly very useful, especially while on the ship. He's not quite certain how useful they will be on land, but hopefully as useful as on the sea. But that's about all he really thinks about Cigna is, oh, you can summon gods, and the moment you stop being able to summon gods, I mean, better find a new shtick.
All right, fair enough. So at this point, as described earlier, you're more or less poised to begin your assault on this other vessel. What is everybody doing? What is the order of operations going on here?
I believe it was brought up that Marina would take to the skies for a moment to get an idea where everything is.
All right.
But for the most part, she's staying back once it actually begins and being background support. Because she doesn't want to get covered in bodies again.
Fair enough. So when you take to the skies, what you see is in that screen share I did, they're basically the crew of this other vessel has mostly turned in for the night. There's someone at the back of the ship manning the rudder, just steering their boat. There's someone at the front of the ship who's keeping a good lookout and mostly looking ahead, looking through a spyglass from time to time. And beyond that, there's not much of interest. What you do see in the center there, that little brown oval is to represent the mast. Beyond that, there's what appears to be a trapdoor that goes down below into the ship. So as of right now, there are only two people on deck. Both of them seem to be armed and reasonably well outfitted, but they also don't seem to be like they're ready for a fight. And the deck of the ship is definitely not at full strength. Ostensibly, most of the crew are asleep down below.
Okay, and she'll fly back and transform back to her trident form and let the crew know that.
Okay. Ace would probably take that information in. You'd look at Locke and be like, all right, how's the big bombing going?
Well, before we do that, Who's going up on the deck again?
To place down the bombs, I could either climb up onto the top, place down stuff, or we could have Marina drop some tar and bombs down there. Might be a little bit more difficult. Unless you got something, Zigna.
Well, I think we should invent dive bombing a few years early. My plan seems the best.
Fair. So I think that should be the last thing that we do as well, as it'll be easier to set off the stuff at the top when they're raining down and they're kind of confused, than would be to set off the ones around the side. Also be more effective.
You got it.
All right.
They shouldn't be too difficult.
All right, and while I'm doing this, I've got I'm setting up the explosives right now. Remind me one more time. We're planning on dropping one big explosive on the deck, or are we planning on trying to use the explosives to set the whole thing on fire?
So our original plan was that we would set the biggest explosion right at the rear, as that would be the least likely to be truly structurally stable compared to the rest of the ship, as well as lining the sides of the ship with tar, as it will be, or what the material was, since it's flammable and sticky, basically making a impromptu, whatever that word is,
Blue?
Yeah. And so covering the sides of it with that flammable stuff, and then launching one down the top, and then whatever Signo was going to do to the bottom of it, essentially causing the entire ship to crack in half, be lit on fire on all sides, the back of it exploded, it can't move anywhere, and the deck to be lit on fire, so no one can escape.
Well, if Marina is going to be dropping a bomb, how much do you think you can carry?
That's a good question. I think that'd be a strength check.
If you were to turn yourself, instead of a European, maybe an African swallow.
No.
Let's see. We're level 4.
Actually, I don't know if she can turn into a bird since we're level 4.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I thought we were 5.
Are we
also
5?
have us as 5.
Oh. I guess me and Marina have not leveled up yet. That's the thing we should do. Alright, so you can turn into something with a flying speed, what looks to be half CR. Let's see. So we'll have you fly up, probably I would say not too heavy. I'm not sure what MAC are things, but I would imagine it's super duper heavy.
So you know what? How about this? Do you think that whatever bird you can turn into would be able to carry somewhere between either 2 or 3 pounds?
I feel like that'd be doable if I can find a bird to turn into.
Because I can give you, I can basically tie 3 incendiary bombs together for you to carry in one bundle, and just drop it.
Fancy. What do you think?
That should be fine enough. I mean, I doubt I'll be dropping to the ship, so I should be able to fly over, drop them, and come back without being caught or anything.
All right. So let's see, if we're gonna use it to sort of hit the middle and try to take out both the mast and the center. Yeah, I'll give you 3 incendiary bombs, because those will coat the space in a lot of fire, plus the damage gets doubled on against structures. And then I will combine the remaining. Basically, there's going to be a remaining explosive bundle of 3 quiet bombs and 1 incendiary bomb to finish off the other end of the ship.
Okay.
Marina, side note out of game, if you turn into a giant owl, you'll be within your CR. They have a flyby ability, so if you do come close to an enemy, you can escape without provoking an opportunity attack. Or if you feel like you might want to get a little bit more in the action while in wild shape, you can turn into a giant wasp, which is just as vicious as it sounds.
That's
horrifying.
Oh, to turn into a giant wasp or an owl? She'd turn into an owl in this situation.
Okay.
While that's going on, Signa is going to swan dive off the side of the ship to prepare for the primary attack from below.
Sigma can breathe underwater, right?
Yes, she can.
Okay.
I was just about to ask that too. It's like I have the bubble ability just in case.
Yeah, no, it would be a really bad water themed subclass if it didn't let you breathe underwater.
It is D&D.
Tritons can live at the bottom of the ocean and don't have dark vision, so you never know with this game. All right.
Well, you know what?
As long as you're not a Triton monk. Anyway, so what do we want the order of operations to be on this? Do we want to try to plant some bombs and then simultaneously Signa attacks from below? Or do we want Signa attacking from below to act as a diversion? Or what's the goal here? Because that's going to determine how the action order goes.
It sounded like what we wanted to do was paint the sides of the ship with pitch, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna want to do that first somehow, without being caught.
Okay, so painting the back of the ship with pitch is not too difficult as long as you can avoid interfering with the rudder, because that would attract attention if you did. The sides of the ship are a little more difficult because, once again, I'll draw your attention to the diagram here. Not every one of those oars is active because some of the rowers are asleep, but about half of them still are. So whatever you do to avoid attracting attention, you have to negotiate around the oars to do it.
Okay, so
I'd be remiss though if
we'll hit the back with we'll paint the back with the pitch, and then the incendiary bomb will coat the front in we'll coat the front in a sticky flammable liquid anyways.
Okay, yeah.
And what were you saying? DM.
Okay, and then also I just should mention that the oars don't go all the way to the back of the boat. It's not to the very back. So parts of the sides you could still do your pitch thing.
Okay. Considering the boats come in my mind and in Ace's mind at least.
Giant octopus also paints the sides of the ship.
That's true. And in Ace's mind, the boat would be cracking in half, and so he wouldn't really want to get the middle of the boat anyways, as he would imagine that'd be kind of a waste of pitch. So he would probably go for like the back third and the front third to the best of his ability. And since, as Locke said, the front is going covered in sticky flammable liquid anyways, he would probably focus primarily on getting the back covered in pitch. And then Signa would head downwards, Marina would head upwards, and then we would head to the front of the ship.
Okay, so for a start, I guess Locke and Ace now have a fairly difficult arts and crafts project you have to pull off, because you're basically leaning off of your boat and painting pitch onto the other boat and trying to do all of this without the ships cracking into each other, because that would draw attention, and also not fall into the water and all this other stuff. So Do you want it to be where one of you is holding the other Titanic style while you're leaning off of the boat painting, or are you both doing this together? How do you picture this?
I feel like you have more ability to do more you've done it for longer, Locke. So I can totally lift you and have you do what you do best.
Paint a pretty picture.
Mhm.
Oh, this is gonna be my masterpiece right here.
Are you going to put your name on the ship, Locke?
Oh, I'll be putting my name all over this ship when I'm finished.
All right. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a stealth check from Locke. I have confidence in your character's ability to do the task, but to do it quietly and without making any noise.
Mhm.
And we're going to need a strength check from Ace.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. Go. That's a 14.
Okay, so that should be adequate.
And that is a 12.
Okay. So it's the kind of thing where you're not quite as quiet as you'd like to be. There's some times where, with the motions of the boat, you're physically banging into the thing you're painting and possibly even cursing a little bit as you're doing it. Now, Signa, are you waiting for things to start happening above before you launch your attack below, or are you getting right into it?
I'm going to wait at least until the back is painted.
All right. So as you're swimming around below, what you're going to notice is that the water is strangely absent of marine life. There's no obvious reason why. And you're also going to notice that there is some sort of hatch that's built into the bottom of the ship.
I have changed my mind. I'm going to start immediately.
Okay.
But
All right.
so we're just gonna feel a thud.
Probably, yeah.
Try not to break our ship as well.
Just out of curiosity, what's the logic that's causing you to change your mind?
Well, Signa is seeing the lack of marine life, and as someone who's very experienced with the ocean by this point, like, there must be some kind of apex predator. And then at seeing the hatch at the bottom of the boat is going, the apex predators are probably either on the ship or already in the water. I want them to be dead before they can get in the water with me.
The logic is sound enough. What is your plan?
Alright. I'm going to transmute a lightning bolt so it does not kill me. And I'm going to transmute it into... Why not necrotic damage, I guess. Or actually thunder damage, so it splits the ship apart, hopefully. And everything...
Like
Say that again?
Like a depth charge.
Kinda, yeah. And I'm pointing it straight up from the middle of the ship. And everything in 100-foot long and 5-foot wide blasts out from me straight up into the ship. And everything in that direction has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Jesus Christ.
Are you... So right at the center of the ship is where that hatch I described is. I think it's actually shown on the... No, I didn't put it on the illustration. All right. So the hatch is right at the center of the ship, essentially almost directly below the main mast. Are you hitting the hatch itself, or are you targeting more of the hull?
I'm targeting more of the hull.
Okay. And so the ship is a ship. It can't really make a dexterity saving throw. The vessel is going to take full damage from this blast. So go ahead and roll up the damage.
Alright, so that is going to be a total of 32 damage.
Jeez.
Okay.
That feels
Damage.
lower than expected.
It's 8. For some reason, the spell has 8 dex, so it's higher minimum, lower maximum.
All right. So you've definitely put a solid crack into the hull, and the ship is surely taking on water. From your perspective, you can't tell how well equipped they are to deal with it in terms of, for example, is the ship in compartments where only one or two can flood at a time and things like that. But you've definitely damaged the hull. Now, Ace, Locke, and probably Marina, given your sensitivity to oceanic things, you would have sensed this disturbance in the water. And Ace and Locke, you definitely heard some kind of loud thud that seems to have happened generally in front of you somewhere, although it's hard to determine exactly where.
Well, that sounds like an issue.
Furiously, I turn back towards what the fuck is she down there?
Yeah, there's something not right going on, guys. We should be careful. I don't know what
I
Cygna's
think our
doing, but
timetable just increased. I'm gonna listen to see how the people on the boat are doing.
How
Go
well
ahead.
painted section?
What did you say, Locke?
Lock painty. Fuck Cygna.
What did you say, Locke?
How well painted is this section with pitch?
You've managed to get a decent coating on it. I mean, you're not painting the Mona Lisa here. It's just a matter of
Right.
slopping tar on things. So you've done a decent job of getting it painted up.
Okay.
So, Ace, what is your passive perception?
My passive is 12.
All right. So, without any checks, you are able to hear.
Oh, sorry, I forgot alert. So I have. Oh no, sorry, alert's not the one I was thinking of. I apologize. So 12.
12. All right. So, before we get into doing a check, just based on your passive perception, you're able to hear there's some commotion, and the Marina would have described to you that there was a hatch going to below decks. You definitely heard that slam open and some shouting and cursing coming out, and people are most likely going to be looking over the sides of the ship to try to figure out what's going on. Now, go ahead and make a perception check.
Will do. That'd be a unnatural 20.
On an unnatural 20, you're able to get into a little bit more detail, which is that you can overhear some of the conversations that are happening from the people who are already on deck and from the sailors who are coming up above. And someone shouted, what did we hit a reef or something? Weren't you supposed to be looking out? And the person who was on the lookout saying, we didn't hit anything. I've been watching the water this whole time. And there's a lot of those kinds of conversations happening. So the people on the ship are aware that something's wrong, but they haven't necessarily sorted out that they're under attack.
Timetable's moving up faster, folks. Marina, you want to grab the bombs and stuff? We'll start heading to the front of the ship. We'll nuke it as soon as we can. Try to stay out of sight of most people. They're gonna be weary, look around things. So, moment you get within eyesight, just drop the bombs. And then
okay, sounds good, Captain.
Don't
Hopefully they don't
watch the ship.
get too suspicious of an owl.
Owl out here is gonna be kind of weird.
It should be fine. I mean, it's dark, so... And Marina will turn into an owl.
All right, so you're turning into an owl and flying up?
Yep, with the bombs.
All right, so as you're doing that, you hear someone from the deck go, look at the size of that owl. And somebody else is like, stop looking at birds, you idiot. We need to figure out what's going on. Now, as you who are still on the boat are making your way around, a couple of the sailors do see you, and one of them shouts down, ahoy, what are you doing down there? The difference between the two of the size of your boats is they're about 10 feet higher than you are.
Ace will probably look out. This is just like kind of a fishing boat of sorts, right?
Yes.
Okay, he'll probably go, ahoy, we got a little bit lost. We're going some midnight fishing. I didn't quite see your boat as we're coming up, but, you know, we got a little bit too close. I do apologize. Would you like us to back up? We aren't seeing any fish here.
So, someone's going to give you this baffled expression, and he's going to say, "You didn't see a warship with a crew of 50 carrying 100 soldiers on board. You just didn't just somehow miss that. Go ahead and make a deception check, Ace."
Will do. He has a plus 11. That's a 26. Yeah, no, the giant owl kind of caught us off guard for a little bit. And we've been having some issues with the ocean. It's a little bit calm right now, but you go like a couple 100, 200 some feet over there, and it's a little bit rocky. And so we're trying to figure out how to get our boat to move properly. Then the owl popped up. We just got very confused. I do apologize.
So, for the most part, the crew who are looking at you are just kind of nodding along. Since nothing else has happened, they don't have a particular reason not to believe you. And someone is going to shout, "What's that goblin doing with that bucket of tar?"
He was using it he was very confused on the purpose of the tar, and so unfortunately he thought it was a bucket to shit in, and now he has to clean it. He's not happy about it.
He doesn't do a job. He's got it all over him.
Yeah. I'm half tempted to throw him in the ocean, I'll be honest, but it's been a long night, man. He fell in a couple times. It's been kind of weird, and I don't really want to touch him. We're trying to get him to not move too much on the ship, you know how it is.
So, Marina, while this conversation is going on, you can either fly overhead with your bombs and just sort of wait, or you can drop them while they're in the middle of a conversation. It is up to you.
She would take this as an opportunity, seeing as what she observed so far with the team. Actually, for a split moment as she's flying, she's going to try to glance at Locke or Ace for some kind of signal before she takes action.
So, okay. Ace, you're kind of caught up in your conversation with the sailors. I'm going to say it's going to be Locke who's going to have the opportunity to notice the owl looking your way and try to respond in some way.
If I do see it, then I'm just going to start shaking my head.
Okay, not time yet.
Yeah, well, while at the same time I'm sort of just like gibberishly speaking in Goblin at Ace.
Ace does speak Goblin. So, what are you saying to him?
No.
Just in case there is someone on that ship who speaks Goblin. Listen, how was I supposed to know that this thing that smells like shit isn't where I'm supposed to put the shit?
All right. While all that's going on, Signa, you're still down below. You can see that the ship, it's not in imminent danger of sinking from the amount of damage you've done to it, but it is damaged. What are you doing?
I'm going to place my spellcasting hand directly on the existing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to transmute a second lightning bolt.
All right. Go ahead, roll up the damage because we're still talking about a boat that can't move.
Yeah.
Fuck this boat specifically.
Do I need to roll anything to make sure I don't get hit by the lightning? Or is like
No, because there's a whole entire solid ship between you and it.
Okay.
Right. That's going to be a total of 37 damage this time, directly on the spot where the old damage is.
Okay, so several things happen in rapid succession. The first thing is that the bottom of the ship where you had damaged it before, several planks are just blown completely aside. So there's definitely water rushing in now, and the damage is now pretty serious. The ship is going to need to put into port very quickly. The second thing that happens is, I don't know exactly how your aquatic abilities relate to it. As a matter of fact, I think Ace and Locke, you might be in the best position to hear this, because from the holes for the oars, you have some context for the inside of the ship. You hear wood splintering, and you hear screams. The lightning bolt, the modified lightning bolt, has caught people who were below deck, possibly fatally. It doesn't sound good whatsoever.
In a voice of attempted genuine panic, Ace is going to say up to him, "Are you guys okay? What was that noise?"
All right. And in response to that, there's going to be a lot of shouting and confusion from the crew. They're not really going to respond to you in any particular way. And the other thing that's going to happen, Signa, is that hatch at the bottom of the boat is going to open. And you're going to see a group of Sahagwin departing the boat and getting into the water with you. A moment will pass as they're all looking around, and they immediately spot you and circle to close with you.
Oh boy.
So the first one is just going to lunge at you and thrust his spear at you. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that a 9 doesn't hit your AC.
Not at the moment, no.
All right. He is not quite deterred. He's going to try to bite you. And he somehow managed to roll another 9, so that was cool.
This one guy just like, "I can do it! I can do it! Why aren't you dying?"
The second one is going to rapidly swim up beside you. And in case anybody doesn't know what a Sahagin looks like, they're sort of humanoid sharks, teeth filled with maws, fins coming off of their faces, their arms, and their feet. And they tend to carry spears they can wield weapons as any other humanoid could, but they tend to carry spears that are made from whalebone or other materials that would be easy to get from down below. And this guy is going to do even worse than the first one on his first attack. And he's going to roll a whole 12 on his second bite attack.
Doesn't hit me.
All right.
Poor dude.
Luckiest.
So we're back up top. Ace, what are you doing as you're observing the chaos and confusion setting in?
He's gonna kind of look at the guy who was kind of talking to him earlier, kind of trying to get his attention. Be like, hey, do you need any help? Or, what, can I do anything? It's a small ship, but if I can help, let me know.
So the person's going to start to wave you off, but then a moment's going to pass and he's going to say, "You know what? If you could stay close by, if whatever's going on is bad, we may need to evacuate some of our crew. So that would actually be great if you could just hang close by somewhere, but not too close, because whatever's going on, we don't want it to hurt you."
All right, we'll move on a little bit further ahead. Try to get out of harm's way. Give me some kind of signal if you need us.
All right, yeah, sounds good. Please, if you spot any reefs or anything like that, or rocks ahead, shout real loud. Let us know, because we're going to be a little bit distracted over here.
We'll let you know. Follow ship if you can. If not, just do your best. Survive, my man. And he's gonna start moving his boat forwards.
Locke, while this is going on, what are you up to?
I'm whispering to Ace, I need you to get me up alongside of the ship, at least about 60 feet away, so we can make this work.
Nah, bro.
I can hit both ends in one shot.
All right, middle or back?
I need you to get me to the middle so that I'm equidistant from the back and the front.
Okay. So I can get
Get
you
this
about
whole
that
thing
far.
in one shot.
So I'll move kind of to the side. I'm gonna look up at Marina, and I'm gonna do a kind of a hand gesture, kind of saying go.
All right, Marina, are you going to, upon seeing this hand gesture, are you going to act on it?
Of course. She will see the hand gesture and kind of get close to the ship. That way she can guarantee that the bombs actually do hit and land where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
So real quick,
yeah.
we're sailing to get into
Range.
to get into range, I'm going to take 3 reagent dice, and I'm going to pump them into the incendiary bomb and quiet bomb bundle that I have.
All right. So while you're just innocently cleaning that bucket with a suspicious amount of supplies and tools on deck, but nobody's really paying attention because they're worried about their ship.
Right.
Marina, I just looked up the stats for the giant owl. They get +2 to dexterity. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make an attack roll with advantage. Add your proficiency bonus, whatever that is, I don't remember, and then +2 for your dexterity bonus because this is a ranged attack. And tell me what you land on.
Okay.
Okay.
What you got?
6 for the attack roll.
That was with advantage?
Oh, yeah. That was not.
Not with advantage. Hold on. Yeah, now it's a 10.
Okay. In your apprehension and your nervousness about everything that's going on, you manage to drop the bundle just to the side of the boat. Now, fortunately for Ace and Locke, she does drop it just to the side of the boat that's the opposite of where you two are, so you're not in danger of being detonated by your own teammate, as hilarious as that would have been.
Yay. She's very useful.
Now, Locke, with the bundle she dropped, as it's on its way down, it's going to hit with a lot of force one of the oars that's still in operation. Is that going to detonate it, or is the bundle just going to be lost to the sea?
They go off on impact. Because what the explosion is made out of is basically a clay pot with a binary construction on the inside, all fragile.
Okay. Marina, what are you knowing about?
I was scared for her mental moment that the explosions would get me in some way, or at least for a moment on my way out.
Okay. No, you're safe. I mean, you dropped it from I assume a reasonable height. I don't picture the owl landing and then with its owl claws trying to set a bomb, although as hilarious as that would be.
I just wasn't sure how large the explosion would be.
How large is the explosion there, Locke?
Do you have 12 D6s to roll?
Oh, God.
That's a lot of D6s.
He starts counting. He starts 1, 2.
I think I actually have that many, so for the sake of brevity, that's a lot of D6s, though.
A lot of
I don't want to be a
D6s.
cook bird.
So I do, in fact, have 12 D6s somehow.
Hey.
6.
Yeah, because it does double damage against structures, and each bomb does 2d6 by itself. So
66 double 12d6.
That's how I'm doing that math.
All right, so you're going to have to trust the DM on this one. So that's 5, 9, 13, 16, 19, 21, 27, 30, 32, 36, 40. 40 even.
Damn.
All right. And it goes off in a 15-foot sphere, and it covers that space in that sticky, flammable material. So if it's close enough where some of that sphere gets the side of the ship, that side of the ship's now on fire.
All right, so Marina, here's what you see as your package misses its target. It falls, it cracks against one of the ship's oar, and for a moment there's just this flash and you can't see anything else in it. What you're seeing in the next moment is the portion of the oar that was past where the bomb hit is now a great distance out into the ocean. It just got launched into sea by the force of the explosion. Additionally, you're not at a great angle to see this in detail, but you can presume that you heard some cracking and splintering, so presumably the side of the ship, the opposite side hull is cracked. And you can definitely see that there's now a fire going on that side of the ship. And if we're looking toward the screen share I did, if you can see where I'm swirling the mouse around, it's roughly there that it's happening, near to the mast.
Okay.
Actually, I will go ahead and move with Ace and Locke being in a boat somewhere over here.
Okay.
And
All right.
Cigna is underneath with Cigna's new friends.
That's what the blue guys were.
And then Marina, I didn't make an owl thing, but Marina's somewhere up above.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this definitely changes the mood of things on the ship. There's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of shouting. People are shouting to bring water. Someone's asking, can we bring the water that's coming in down below up to put the fire out above? And it's turning into quite a scene, and nobody quite saw that happen, Marina, because they weren't really looking at a random bird flying around. And it's just an increasing sight of chaos up there. Now, Cigna, there are two Sahagwin directly in front of you, and there's one of them a little bit further back in the water. What do you do?
So I'm going to cast on myself Kinetic Jaunt as a bonus action, which gives me 10 extra movement speed. It means that I get free disengage. And at this point, I'm going to move up into the hole I have created in the ship.
Okay, so you do that, and you come out into the lower part of the ship. Basically, you're on the bottom level, and around you are some banks of oars and a lot of men who are frantically bailing water. They're basically taking buckets of water from where it's coming in from the hole you just entered through, and they're trying to bail it out from these banks of oars, from the holes for the oars. It's not exactly a precise operation, but it is working. And now they're staring at you in shock because a random person jumping up through the hole in the boat wasn't necessarily something they thought of as being in the cards. You still have your action by my count, so what are you doing?
So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and angle my next spell in a sort of diagonal down direction. And I'm going to use one of my Warlock spell slots, cast Lightning Bolt again, and try to hit as many of them as possible and also electrocute the water that the fish people are in.
Okay.
This boat's getting fucked.
Aren't you still standing in the water that you're shooting a lightning bolt into?
No, I thought I got up onto the ship, or is it like the entire lower deck slightly submerged?
All right, so we'll say you managed to jump up onto one of the rowers' benches or something like that. Okay. And Okay, so the guys who are bailing water are at least ankle deep in it, and they don't have a way to get away. And the fish guys who are ostensibly following you are moving toward you more than they're trying to escape, and they're moving toward you through this narrow hole that you created, so they don't have a great way to get out of it. Go ahead and roll up the damage, please.
So that is going to be 36 lightning damage.
Ooh, boy.
All right, so the men in the galley are overworked and under supported. These aren't the soldiers the ship was transporting. These are tired, guys who weren't in great shape. So 3 of the men in the galley are done. They're just dead. One of the Sahagwin was starting to emerge behind you, and it's no longer emerging behind you. It seems to have survived the shock, but it's decided that it likes its chances in the sea better. And the remaining men who were bailing water are no longer doing that. They're rapidly making their way up the ladder. There's a lot of commotion at the ladder as they're all trying to get away from you.
Okay, and that's going to be all for my turn because I've done a bunch of stuff. So.
Yep. No, that was one of the more eventful turns I've ever seen in my 6 years or so of DMing.
I really do like the Gestalt system.
So this is going to bring us back to Ace and Locke.
Cool. Ace is gonna kind of look at Locke while watching essentially a lightning bolt go straight down through the ship. He's just gonna go, I think you land a bundle of bombs right in that middle ore hole right there.
You want everything in the middle, or you want like one bundle in the middle?
How big are those explosions?
They're gonna be pretty big.
All right, just shove everything you got right through that hole. See, can I see Signa by any chance?
I'm in the boat.
So the answer is no, because the sides of the hull haven't been breached, and all of the commotion and activity makes it hard to see anything.
Fair. So I'll go, you know what? I think Signa might be out of the boat. So just shove it through that hole. And we'll watch this ship explode. Or hit the side of the boat, whichever one works.
Toss the bombs into Signa's arms, and she's
yeah, it's not really gonna be a toss, that's for sure.
I have faith in you, my bomb man.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right. Oof. Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry, if you miss, I'll just blast it. So it's gonna blow up one way or another. Just try to get in the hole.
There's going to be a lot of wasted materials if I miss. All right, here we go. And I'm going to load both bundles into my crossbow. I'm going to turn a dial, spending two sorcery points to twin spell catapult at 2nd level on both bundles at that one point in the center of the ship.
All right, so basically there's an ore hole that doesn't have an ore through it right now, and so that's your shot.
That's my shot, and it's catapults a dex save on the side on the part of the ship.
I mean, the ship can't really dex save, so
exactly.
Just go ahead and roll a d20 as treating this as a bow shot, but since you're doing this with the help of catapult, do it with advantage.
Okay. Nice. I got a 19 on the dice.
All right. So yeah, you launch your bundles and into the ship they go. And are these more that just explode on impact?
Yeah. As soon as they hit something, the whole thing goes off.
And it's a dexterity save?
Yeah.
What's the DC?
Yeah. The DC is 16.
Hey, Signa, do you know what I need you to do right now?
The answer is natural 1.
Oh,
Oh, no.
So
I'm being entirely
R.I.P.
serious. I rolled and I got a natural 1.
Oh,
What's the
no.
damage block?
That's not
Does
good.
does he take the damage from both bundles and both catapults?
What's that?
Does he take damage from both bundles and both catapults? Or does she?
She would take the damage from the bundles, but not the catapults, because the catapults weren't targeting her. She's taking damage from anything that's an area effect.
All right, so that's
It's gonna hurt.
all right. So we'll start with just the base level of 2d8, 5d10. So 4d8, 5d10, and 2d6.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of scary dice.
Yeah, it is a lot of scary dice. Hang on, I gotta grab more dice.
I don't like this.
So Signa, how's that backup character?
It's a really good thing that you can breathe underwater, Marina, because you're gonna have to go fishing here in a second.
Oh, yay! I should probably figure out which. Oh, actually, she can just go as is
Yeah.
instead of turning into a creature.
I don't think I've
As long as I
ever.
don't become shark food, we're good.
I don't think I've ever seen a player have to go and search for more dice. This is amazing.
Sometimes when you're this size, you gotta learn how to punch above your weight class.
That's
Alright,
the
so
very
the
good call,
D8s.
because all of those insane combos you normally can't do until double whatever level you are, you can do them at lower levels.
Right. Okay, so D8s are coming up. 1, 2, 9, 12. And then the D10s are gonna come up. Three. Hard. Don't run from me. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then the D10. 10, 19, 27, 34, 38, and I needed 2d6.
You're right, killed Ace at this point with mouth damage.
And
Yeah,
the
Signa's
D6
down.
come up 6.
Just
So
6.
what was the total?
56.
Never had a player character insta-death. That is double the total of Signa's.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Huh. Wow.
Okay, so I had actually had something planned for what happened after the sinking of the ship, which I didn't think would be important in the sense of stopping player character death, but it is. So Signa, here's what you... Okay, so first off, here's what everybody but Signa sees.
God.
Everybody but Signa sees both sides of the ship just blow out, just completely blow out. And this ship is done. It's starting to split in half at the middle. The crew just gives up and start immediately jumping overboard. Now, Locke and Ace, you have a decision you need to make, which is that a lot of the crew saw what you did, because you were in plain sight, so they know the situation. These people are jumping directly into the water, and they have nowhere to go. There's not land close by. So the question is, are you going to start taking survivors on board? Or are you going to not do that?
Well, Captain, my choice would be to just either let them drown or make them drown.
I'm not really in the business of making folks drown, but I mean, we don't really have a big enough ship to take on folks, so...
Duly noted. Load, take the first shot.
Oh, I'll look for companions as he looks upwards.
Okay, Marina, you have no way of knowing what happened to Signa, but you just see this ship explode and split, and it's clearly going down, and you see Locke deciding that this is a good moment for target practice. What do you do?
That's a good question for someone that doesn't want to be part of the target practice or bodies exploding everywhere. She, what would she do?
If you
If
want
it
to take a
helps.
minute, we can circle back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what she would do, whether or not she'd... Actually, yeah, she would. So she's going to dive into the water, and as she does, she's going to transform into, let's say, a dolphin,
Okay.
because she'll instinctively want to help people. Is there by chance I'll see Signa though?
You will in a minute, but when you say you're trying to help people, what's your way of doing that in dolphin form?
She would probably be trying to like nudge them or push them forward. Maybe they'll probably be taking like, oh no, a shark of sorts, and try to scare them into swimming faster and away from the ship before they get more injured.
Okay. So
Because she wouldn't be able to help everyone, but she would try to get them away from the situation.
okay. So yeah, I mean you're sort of doing what you can, even as a powerful magic user. Your options in this situation are limited, and you are able to nudge men toward like bits of driftwood that are floating and things that they might be able to grab onto, in order to at least not go under right this very instant. So Signa,
Hello.
you're in this ship that you've just breached, and through one of the portholes, a bundle comes, and you just catch it in your hands, and there's a moment where you're wondering what it is. And then you find yourself gently floating toward the bottom of the ocean. And you hear something very familiar to you, which is the voice of your gods. And you hear them, they're not really calling to you. Who they're calling to is the survivors of this wreck who are flailing desperately in the ocean. And what you see happen is that some of them, upon hearing this call, and it's that otherworldly voice, join us, we will find you a home and a place. Your gods have abandoned you to the sea. So some of the people, upon hearing this call, begin to swim more frantically away from it. A lot of them, though, what you witness is they turn and start to swim down, essentially answering the call. And with that in mind, Ace, Locke, and Marina, you all hear this as well. And it's a voice strangely alluring, calling to you from below the depths, promising you a warm and welcoming place where you'll be powerful and protected. And Marina, you'll have heard of this kind of thing before and possibly even have had to avoid it. So you're going to make this check with advantage. Ace and Locke and Marina, all three of you, please make a wisdom saving throw.
Will do. Oof. It's just a 9.
Okay.
Just checking my other stuff.
A very casual nat 20 for Marina.
All right.
I swear you stole my love.
Dang. All right. Just a straight. That is a solid 8.
Okay. So, Marina, you see, so you know what's happening. As I say, you would have heard of this effect. You would have been partially prepared for it. You see Ace and Locke jump off of their boat and start to swim toward the direction of this call. And you know that what's going to happen if they succeed in answering the call is that they will serve the same gods that Signa serves. Now, they may serve them as in becoming warlocks of that god. They may serve them as in being given water breathing abilities and serving as essentially servants in some sort of aquatic palace. Or they might serve those gods as a light supper. You don't really know. What do you do?
So Marina will immediately swim toward them and start like trying to push them back up. And if that doesn't succeed, she's going to try to use she's gonna try to use please look.
Use what?
There it goes. She's going to use dissonant whispers to try to snap them out of it.
All right. So as this is happening, Ace and Locke, each of you repeat your saving throw, please.
That is a 10.
Okay.
Sorry, forgot I was
Ace
muted.
got-
That's an unnatural 22.
Okay. So Ace, you snap out of it, and you see Locke clearly has not. And Marina is frantically trying to get your friend to start swimming in the generally right direction. What do you do?
He's going to wrap his arms around Locke, and then he's going to pretty much Misty step straight up to try to get back to the boat.
All right, so you do that, and Locke, I'm going to say just the shock of this snaps you out of it, but you're still angry. You still really wanted to make your way down there and to take advantage of what was being promised. So you're starting to snap out of it, but you're still not quite you.
What the hell were you doing?
Whoa, hang on there, bud.
Now, Signa,
Oh.
as you're floating down what you see is your gods are. You see something moving below you, and it's more than one set of eyes in the deep. And the mysterious nature of your gods being what it is, it's hard to tell if this is one entity with multiple expressions or if it's multiple entities or what. But there's a point where one set of eyes locks on you, and the eyes get closer, but these eyes, from a distance, these eyes were gigantic. And as they get closer, they lose that gigantic property. It's like the closer they get, the more human or at least humanoid and comfortable they become. And you can vaguely make out the outline of a face in the water. So at this point, your patron is giving you a choice. We are pleased with your work. You have brought us worshippers, and we want to see the war avoided. We take the souls of those who are disaffected with your world. War takes souls that we could have taken, and it inspires heroism, patriotism, notions that do not help our cause. So, you have a choice. You may return to the surface and continue to serve us, or you may come home and serve below. You must choose now. What is your choice?
Surface.
All right. So you find yourself still not feeling necessarily the best, but very much alive. And above you, you can see the outline of your ship, the Revenge. And below you, you see the sailors who have succumbed to the cold and suffocation and drowning, drifting down with others still actively swimming down. So what do you do next?
I'm gonna head towards the Revenge.
All right. Marina, are you still are you still in the water, or have you rejoined your friends?
Yeah, she would still be in the water.
Okay. So it's just Ace and Locke who see a very scorched, but somehow improbably alive Cigna climb over the side of the boat and like visibly hurt and exhausted, but alive.
Hi, Cigna. Oh, calm down, Locke.
I imagine by this point, Cigna is covered in some degree beyond first of burns. He's just going to look over and sort of blink and warn me next time. I literally died.
Oh, were you in the boat?
Yes, I caught the bombs.
Oh.
They were in my hands.
Why weren't you in the I thought you were gonna be down below. You know, chewing
The
upwards.
shark people attacked me.
Oh. Sorry, didn't realize you were inside the boat. You okay?
I look okay.
I've not seen much worse, but I mean, the building block blew up like a day ago. That was much worse, but no, you don't. You
Observation, Captain.
I ain't really got anything to heal you. What do you think, Locke? Yeah, ain't like potions on you, like healing potions.
Can Marina pop her head up?
Yeah.
Yes.
And see everyone's back?
Oh,
She'll
hi,
make her way
Marina.
back to the ship. Is everyone okay?
Cigna got blown up.
Are you okay? Do you need healing?
Yes,
I
all of it.
Okay, okay. And Marina's immediately gonna do healing.
Don't think
Yeah,
a long
apparently-
rest is going to cure this.
Yeah, apparently Signa caught Locke's bombs.
That's not good. It wasn't my own bombs. I'm sorry. Did I
No,
hurt
no,
you?
no, no, no. Yeah, your bombs were on the other side.
Oh, okay.
I caught the bombs that went inside the ship.
Yeah. See, we
Oh.
were timing it expertly, so like your explosion will like rock the ship a little bit, then we'd go through our side, and then we'd just crack the boat in half entirely. Weren't really expecting you to be in there. Sorry.
I owe my gods a favor, I think. Or maybe it's paid off because of all the bodies you gave. Figure it out later.
A lot of bodies.
So Marina is going to quickly run over to you and just touch your arm, and you're going to get 12 healing immediately.
You. Light breeze could probably push Signa over at this point.
So, your character,
You cut out there, Benny.
Marina, I gotta ask, your character would have been, at least in general terms, aware of Signa's deities. You don't necessarily have a hostile relationship with these beings, or your people don't necessarily have a hostile relationship with these beings, but it's fair to say that it's not you don't have the most positive view of them either. And having been part of this event where Signa's deity is clearly claiming a lot of people who would have otherwise been simply lost to death. How is Marina processing that?
Marina's just going to respond with, as she's saying, she'll do.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
So as she's doing healing word on top of it, she's
Mhm.
going to say, as much as I respect you as a crewmate and everything, and clearly I'm not used to being on this adventure and everything, but I do not support what happened in the waters. We don't have to talk about it. I know you know what I'm talking about. And I do not support it at all. And those people, what happened should not have happened. But I can't just let you die. And she'll, like, for once during this whole journey with everyone, she sounds serious and disappointed.
Signa is just unfazed by the tone of remorseful sympathy there, and basically goes, "That was not ideal for me either, but that will need to be discussed at a point when I am not being held together purely by the magic of the Deep Ones."
Kind of
Maybe it's
impressed
for the
that
best.
you're still alive. I'll be honest.
I wasn't for a hot second there. I'm pretty sure they brought me back. Because they offered to join them down there, which usually just means death in one form or another.
Well, I'm glad you're alive. So,
Am I still under the effects of the whole Call of the Deep there?
It's wearing off. You're still a little disoriented, but you're somewhat back to being you.
Something about secrets down at the bottom of the sea. Whatever. Oh, you look like shit.
Hey, your Bobs did a number on me, friend.
Fuck. Man, I do good work, huh?
man.
Okay, despite all of Signa's, but just
You cut out
burst
there.
out laugh. Aside from Signa's injuries, even she can't help but just burst out laughing at that.
All right.
Do be careful. You might pop a wound. I just healed you.
Well, so you all succeeded in your mission, which was to take out the ship that was going to presumably invade the harbor of the tomb. And in doing so, you now own the ship that you are on, free and clear. So this seems like a pretty good place to leave the campaign for tonight, especially because in the chat, the party can work out where you all will want to go next on your adventure. And as a quick side note, I had actually planned for that encounter with Signa's gods, and I'd even contemplated what kind of boon the deities might give Signa for delivering them this ship full of rowers and soldiers who would now be willingly serving those deities. But the particulars of what that might be were very much decided by the course of this session. I hadn't really planned that part to happen, as I don't think anyone could have. So
Such
anyway,
a beautiful just degree of roles that happened there.
So I'm actually going to get myself another set of dice, because after that I rolled my d20 a few times. Of the 5 rolls I did, I got 3 natural ones, 5s.
At this point, you should really test out whether or not your dice are weighted.
It's
Just
possible that a few of them are.
At that point, just eat that dice. Like, just devour it. Be like, you have cursed
Don't
me.
eat dice. Don't listen to him. Do not eat the dice.
So anyway, yeah, we're going to leave it there. This is Benny for Adventures into the End Times saying, don't put yourself in the middle of ships that you know are about to be blown up.
Yep. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this absolute insanity. And I do apologize for the freezing of my computer. Was not expecting that. It has been a wild episode so far. But if you guys are interested in watching more of this, feel free to come by every single Monday at 3 p.m. PST, where we do some more Adventures into the End Times. We also do at 7 p.m. PST, so in about 2.5 hours, Jump Chain, where my brother's running it, and my character is actually about 1 or 11, I don't quite remember, points away from instant death because he has been getting absolutely destroyed. So feel free to join that in a couple of hours if you guys are interested. And of course, go check out our Patreon as well as our other series, including the previous one of this, which was Adventures into the End Times. So hope you all have a good time.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I think we both mistakenly called this campaign Adventures into the End Times.
Oh, did I?
I did, and I think you did it after me. So as a point of reference, this one is Oceans Ablaze, but it was an easy mistake to make since it was just about the end times for one of our party members. Sorry for the interruption. Go on.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so go check that out. We will eventually be posting this as podcasts, both this one, Adventures, as well as my other one, Shifting Fates, once I'm able to figure out how to do a thumbnail, but it should be relatively easy. I just need the time. So if you guys want to listen to it on YouTube Music, as I know there's quite a few of y'all out there who enjoy it on podcast variations, we might also be moving it to other stuff like Spotify or whatever have you. Feel free to stay tuned for that, and we'll see all of you fine folks next time. Bye!
Goodbye.